Awkward positioning this. I want it close to the RV. I'll have to level that later. It's raining again. It's been raining all day on and off. To be honest, this is all I've got done today. And even that's crooked. Very crooked. I don't know if you can tell how unlevel that is, but that's I gotta level it off, put some boards underneath the pallet later. But it's been mostly raining all day, and I was out with my church for most of the day, so I didn't get much done. And I did get this out of the meadow though, so I plan on putting the rain gutters up on my RV. I think you can see the black dirt stain where the water runs down here and here, and I can catch that water. You can see the water is caught on the roof and it's designed to run down those chutes. So I plan on capturing that water and putting it into this tank from now on. I would have put it right behind the RV, but I still have to have access to this hatch where I change the cat litter all the time. That's where it's going to have to be for now. Hope I can figure a way to get it. I've got some downspouts. I just didn't plan on this being so far away, so that's awkward. Well, it's really starting to rain. I have to get the camera in. I have built sort of a temporary home for the babies. They were getting too big and they were starting to stink up the porch and being too much work to clean. They're pretty. They got their water. They got a little bit of a shelter that I rigged up real quick. I'm gonna, when I get back from church, I'll be fixing it up. The big boys are harassing the little rooster again. But the babies are looking good. They're not so little anymore, some of them. But I've got this temporary shelter so they can be outside. They seem to be alright. It's only 48 degrees right now, but they seem to be fine. I think they'll be old enough to handle it now. But anyway, tonight, when I get home, I'm going to insulate this. I just rigged it up. It has, I took part of my homemade food dryer frame and I cut a piece off and I used the more stable part. And it already had plastic on it. And then what I did is put chicken wire all the way around, all sides except for the front, so that they got some shade and some shelter and nothing can get in. Now I still want to put some boards all the way around that to reinforce it and give them a warm place to go in at night. And then I also have to put an entry door on the front. I have to find a piece of wood or something I can use and cut a hole in there. And then at night I'll just put a couple cement blocks in front of that door, and that should keep the birds safe at night. Now these guys want to get in here and see what the babies have that they don't have, but it's nothing. It's the same grass they've had. they keep wanting to get in here. And this is also good because eventually, in a few days or a week or so, I'll let the babies out and let them stay in with the big birds. So soon they'll all be joined together. Now the only thing is I want to keep the, it depends on how cruel the big roosters are going to be. I'll have to watch. But I want to keep the silkies and the little bantams separate for breeding. But that won't matter until a good 6 to 8 months. So I've got time to worry about that. Until they start laying eggs, that is. The white ones, they look wise. They look at me all the time with wise looking eyes. It's interesting how they really check me out. Well, I just wanted to show you my little runway for the babies. I got this sitting here temporarily, so they got a place to be outside. I'll leave them out all day and see how they do. Well, it's Monday morning. The baby birds have been out for their first night ever, and I'm hoping to find that they're alive and well. I hear something peeping. Hopefully that's a good thing. We had at the last minute, 11 o'clock last night, they showed us a frost warning, which is annoying because my plants, I had no way of protecting them at that hour. But I don't see anything on the ground. It looks like they were spared. The big birds want their food. Oh yeah, there's a little bit of frost glittering on the ground. We did get some light frost. Not nice. So let's see if the babies made it through the night alright. Looks like something was here last night attacking the fence. It's all bent up. You see that? Something attacked. So there was definitely an animal out here last night. That's unsettling. Didn't even take one night. Something tried to get to my babies. Didn't try very hard. But something was there. Well, let's see if they all made it through the night on their own. I was really worried about leaving them out here alone. First night in the cold. Hello, birds. You guys are alright? Everybody okay? Yeah, they all made it through the night. Look at the little happy birds coming out. They made it through the night. Every one of them. Now look at how thick the bedding is in there. I gave them some serious nesting material last night. Oh, they're so cute. My little babies. Look at that. Oh, my little baby birds. They're pretty. Well, the little tiny ones made it. Everybody made it. They're all fluffed up though. It's 30 degrees out. 33. They're really fluffy. Good. That was their first night out in the cold. That's where they're going to stay from now on. Until they get bigger and I let them out into the big cage. They got their morning food, chirping happily. Oh, my cute little babies outside. I'm not exactly sure how long I've had them, but those little ones are tiny still. Yep, they're all there. That's good. That was the coldest night they'll have to go through this year. That's nice. Now I gotta let the big boys out. That isn't easy to do. I can barely get it open. I don't know if a raccoon could. There's a lot of pressure on that thing. There, they can come out and free range all day. The babies can pick at grass. I don't know if you can see the depth of that hole. The chickens are digging holes to lay in already. Dusting themselves off. Oh, that's a nice sight. Well, my friend was over A friend from New York City was over, spent the night last night, went to church with me yesterday, was with me all day, and while he was here I had him help me take down these two trees. They were actually embedded in this big tree. It's pretty interesting how that worked. So I got to chop these up. I was taking down some pieces here. This one was off at an angle. You can see where I cut a piece off right there. I think you can see it. I still want to trim some branches on here, clean this up. I've expanded my rock wall a little bit. Got a few flowers sitting here to go in the garden, ground cover flowers. I still want to finish. I'm going to clean off all the rocks here and then sweep off the dirt, and then have this full of ground cover flowers and some mint and stuff. So all this here I'll chop up later. But it's 12:30 in the afternoon and I only just got home because another friend of mine took me up north and got this off Craigslist. Now it runs, but it runs at full throttle only, and I think it's a relatively new machine. It's got a Intech, Briggs & Stratton Intech engine, Craftsman front tine, 5.5 horse, 24-inch. It's relatively good shape, relatively new, but I'm going to lube it up because the throttle is not adjusting, and it was running full throttle when he showed me it ran, but I shut it immediately right off. So anyway, that's an awesome deal off Craigslist, and it's actually going to be cheaper than renting, so I got a deal here, and I'm going to probably do some tilling today. So late start, 12:30 in the afternoon, but better late than never, especially with something like this. Choke works. Well, I see what happened. He put an inline fuel valve on there and it's rubbing on the throttle. That's why. Still isn't connected or something. Something's not connected in there. Well, let me see what happens if I try to fire it up. Alright, I'm going to check all the fluids before I do anything with this. Change the oil, check the gearbox, check the gear lube before I do anything. So yeah, make sure it's going to be a good machine and make sure it lasts. I got to find an oil drip pan. So it's going to work. I've got myself a nice tiller. Change the oil here. Very simple. I try to do this neat and clean and easy here. I'm going to try to do it without spilling a drop onto the ground. I hope. Actually, it's going to run it like this would be better. I know someone's going to run off. This would be the best. Oh yeah, it needed it too. Oh, that's dirty. Oh, that's bad. That's probably the original oil. Oh, that's bad. Oh, there's a lot of metal in there. That's the original oil. Poor thing. All the metal shavings from when it was first run. Oh, that's a lot of metal in there. Nothing big, just a lot of shiny metallic luster to the oil. I think this thing was never changed, I'm betting, because the oil smelled bad and it's watery. poor thing. I think what I'll do is I'll run it a little bit and then I'll change the oil again. Just make sure the poor engine has a good life. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Let me focus again. I don't know if you can see the metallic luster coming through there. I don't know if that shows up on camera or not until I get in the house. Yeah, you can see the metallic luster. You can see a little bit of particles streaming down through there. Not pretty. Poor old thing. I'll let that drip out a little bit and put some clean oil in it. Then I'll run it and then put some more clean oil in it. It'll do it some good. See, that's one thing. People do not care for their machines. This is something very important. People don't change the oil in their machines. If you buy a used machine, this is the first thing you should do is change your oil. Because you don't know if the last person took care of it or not. And in this case, they didn't. And there was only, there was only 10 ounces of oil in there. I don't know what its capacity is, but it was a little low. Poor thing. Yeah, people don't maintain their engines. They don't maintain their machines properly. They buy something and they use it until it quits and wonder why it didn't last long. Yeah, hopefully I'll give it a nice new life. Well, I didn't find any gearbox. It must be a chain drive. So it must be a chain drive because I couldn't find anything. It looks like it's a chain drive anyway. So I lubed all the pulleys I could find, all the connections and stuff. I got new oil in it, and it's got about a little over half a tank of gas. So I'm going to go out and run it through, run that gas out, and see how it performs, and then probably change the oil again. Probably do it some good. Works good now. Very well. Alright, well I'm going to go kill some gardens. It needs some love, but it runs. It's big, and I'm only going through lightly the first time through. But it's rocky here. You watch this thing bounce when I use it. Needs a cleaning, but it's cutting through. It's turning it up. Again, I'm going to run it through 3 times. I'm pulling out rocks like this, the size of that. And then I'll rake it. I'll pull all these rocks out and put them off to the side when I'm done. And eventually I'll have myself a nice rock wall here. All these good rocks, see? They make a border on the garden. Like that. So it's all beneficial. That's all good. That's why I wanted to till this, honestly. Get all these rocks up and use them. So it's multi-purpose here. The tilling is also giving me my border for my wall. That keeps the grasses down and the weeds down in the edge of the fence line. So it's well worth it in the end. That's the whole idea of it all. So, off to work. I think I'm going to put some more gas in that. I think it needs some dry gas as well, probably. It's not happy. Well, it's working. I just realized I have the wrong shoes on. These have vents in them, and it's not good for garden work. So I shut off the machine for now, and it's really hot in the sun. But this is doing a job. It's really doing it. Must have stirred something up because the babies are excited. Oh, they got worms. Look at that. They're excited. I can't believe the worms are crawling out over there already, but anyway, got them all excited. So I shut it off for now. It's smoothing itself out too. I added some clean gas, and it just needs to be used, I think. Poor thing needs to be worked a little bit. And then I'll change the oil. After I run through one tank of gas, I'll change the oil again. The rod in the back is missing, but that's fine. For this rough earth, there's no control in this. You just try to manhandle it and hold it in place while it chops up the earth. But anyway, I'm going to do that after it cools down. And right now, I want to work on my Ford tractor a little bit. I'm going to put the ignition switch in and the battery and see if that thing will turn over. I'm going to pour some lube in the top end as well. And I got to clear out these trees that I got chopped down. See, the next 2 days are going to be rainy, so today I got to use the sun while I can for outdoor work. And then the next 2 days I can work in there, gutting out the interior of that thing. That's the plan. See how it goes. Well, the ignition switch didn't do it, so it's probably the solenoid is shot. So I'm going to jump start the starter directly with jumper cables. I'm going to try. Alright, the engine turns over. That's a good thing, but I think my battery's low. Brand new battery. Seems quite low. That or the cables are too thin. Yeah. Brand new battery. I think I'm going to have to put it on the charger, which is annoying. I'll have to bring out my charger and my generator. Well, it never is as easy as you think. I took off the, just for info, I took off the fuel bowl, which I happen to have right here. It was, it's gummed up pretty bad. The valve won't move, but the bottom comes off nice and smooth. And it came out of the tank easily. And the fuel line, metal fuel line, surprisingly came right out. So I'm going to take this over and clean it. I'm going to have to soak it in some I don't have any solution. I'm going to have to get some solution and soak it. And some parts cleaner. And see if that'll free up. That should free up. And then that'll be usable. So, and the tank, now, the bottom of the tank looks good, but there's a hole in the top of the tank where the hinge of the hood used to rub, which is a shame, but that happens, I guess. Now, so the engine isn't seized, that's good. I pulled out all the plugs and I put oil in the top cylinders, in the top end. I put oil in each cylinder, and then loosely put the plugs back in just so I could see if this would spin. Fortunately, the starter's good. That's a good thing. The wires are a nightmare. I did try to use the new battery, or the new ignition switch that Doc Golra's got for me, but there's something, it's probably the solenoid or something else. Now, I did not mess with trying to replace any junk wires or anything until I knew if this would even turn over. That was the first step. Will it turn over? It did. Now I know most likely I'll get the engine running, but it's probably the solenoid or something. So now over here I've got another very amazingly easy job. I got the carburetor off right here, and everything is loose and freed up and working. I'm quite amazed. It's quite stiff, but that's fine. There were insects inside and a wasp nest, funny enough, but it looks like there's not much to this carburetor. This is not like your modern day carburetors. It's heavy cast iron construction. It's solid. So I'm going to take that also and put it in parts cleaner and see if I can clean that up nicely. Give it a paint job when I'm done. But that's a nice bonus. It says Marvel Schabler, S-C-H-E-B-L-E-R. Marvel Schabler says on there. But anyway, that's a nice there. See that moves nice and free and easy. The choke or the throttle, nice and free and easy. The linkages came off so smooth. The advantage of these old tractors, they were built to last. I'm incredibly amazed. So, that wire, that's what that wire is. Okay, that's from the generator. Pretty cool stuff. I think I'm going to get this running. So I need to lube up everything. Now the next step is going to be, once I get the carb done, is to put some gas in the carburetor and in the fuel line. And then, meanwhile, I got to charge this battery up. But I'll see if I can get this thing to fire, and I'm pretty sure it will. I have a good feeling about this. Quite exciting. Well, thanks again, Doc Ulrus, for the ignition switch. I just have to figure out what other wires are shot so I can get this going. I think my grapevines are happy. They're growing. Getting a little bit bigger than they were. So, looking good. I think they've taken to their new homes nicely. This one's got new growth on the end. Very good. Yeah, that one's growing too. New growth. Now my berries aren't doing much since I put them in the dirt. They're not really moving at all. This one is finished flowering. Yeah, he flowered and he's done. There's a berry forming. Oh, no, there's a new flower forming. There's a new berry. And they're so little, I can't believe they're trying to bear fruit already. Oh, there's new growth here. Okay. There's another forming a berry. All looking good. Well, this one always was drooping since the day I put it in. I don't know why. I keep trying to tell him to go up here, hang on to this board, but he doesn't want to. I know you can tie him up. I probably end up tying him up. He's happy, standing tall and proud. Looking good. Well, once the sun goes down a bit, I want to fire up the tillers and run it some more. I'll probably run it in a couple hours. But it's hard work in this rocky, hasn't been tilled in years, I'll say. Last time this was tilled was probably by a tractor, because this was a potato field, so it was a field at one time. But it's too warm out. I'm going to do that as it's getting darker and work this ground. It'll take a few times through to get it ready to be planted. And then what I do is I let it rest for a couple days, and then I work it up again. I usually do it 2 or 3 times to work up all the roots and all the plants and kill them properly. Make sure they're all dead, and turn things up nicely. And then I'll take my raised garden area here, and I'm going to scatter this throughout the whole area, spread it out throughout the whole garden here, and also my manure pile, which is up there next to the greenhouse, that'll be scattered throughout the whole garden. And then I'll till it again, working that stuff in and mixing it up nicely. And then I should have a really nice garden this year. Really good. And then on top of that, I'm going to do some mulching. So it's going to be a lot of work preparing, but I plan on doing a lot and getting it done right. I plan on having a really nice garden this year. So it's lunchtime now. It's 2:30 in the afternoon, and I'm ravenous, so taking a break. 1,000 reasons why I'm tilling the soil, and this is a big one of them. All of this I'm pulling out. I go a couple feet, or a couple inches I should say, and then I pull out some rocks. I'm starting piles, I'm starting walls, all the way around. It's taken a long, long time, but I'll get it. This is why renting a tiller would have been too expensive. It just is going to take too long.